Thank you for joining us for 3Bs on the Law podcast, hosted by Trisha Barita, Camille Canali, and Susan Dawson. Disclaimer, this podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only, not meant to provide legal advice, and does not create an attorney-client relationship. Also remember, laws change or they differ by jurisdiction, so this is not a substitute for seeking legal counsel in your jurisdiction on the current law applicable to you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to 3Bs on the Law and to our special business startup series. Today, we have a really exciting guest on. She is with My Park Lane Jewelry. She is the company vice president and my personal friend, Catherine Chrisman. The reason that I asked Catherine on today is because she has some great stories and some great lessons from when she was first starting out that she's willing to share, just to help people maybe not make the same, have the same frustrations that she had when she was getting started. And so Catherine also, in addition to being the company vice president for My Park Lane, is also a stylist for the beautiful jewelry that they have. And you can find her styling at myparklane.com/Catherine. And that's Catherine with an E-R-I-N-E, Chrisman. Beautiful stuff. If you want to get in touch with her, that's how you do it. But Catherine, would you just give us a little more background on your business and kind of how you got started in the jewelry business to begin with?
Yes, I'm so glad to be with you guys, and thank you for having me. I started my business on a fluke. I never planned on being an entrepreneur. I think that's a lot of people's stories. Something just happens and someone tells you, oh yeah, that could be a business. And you're like, what? And my story is similar to that. I actually went to college to become a teacher. I have a teaching degree. I worked for the Los Angeles Archdiocese for 3 years, and jewelry was something I started as just a little side business to make some extra money while I was teaching. Well, it took off. And I quickly realized that I was making more on the side with my little jewelry thing than I was as a full-time teacher. But I loved teaching, so I didn't want to give that up. But when I became pregnant with my son, William, I have two boys who are now 27 and 28. And when I became pregnant with my older one, William, he was really my motivation to turn it into a business. Something clicked in me that, you know what? I had a stay-at-home mom. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm making a lot of money on the side. This is my moment to just do this and be serious and make it a career. And I made that decision very firmly, and I give my son the credit because once I made that decision, I did not look back. And I've stayed focused on the path this entire time and have had a blast because I think jewelry is a wonderful product. I'm very fortunate to be with Park Lane Worldwide. This is a family-owned company. It's located in Chicago, Illinois, 65-year-old company in the direct sales space. If you don't know what direct sales is, this is indicative of a piece of the market where we bring the product to the consumer. There's no middleman, thus there's no market, and that profit is plowed into commission and programs and perks and everything you could ever dream of, cars, trips, everything, movie stars for the sales force. So we have a highly motivated sales force that loves what they're doing. And it's been one amazing journey. And I know Camille through NABO Los Angeles. I've been in that organization just about as long as I've been William's mom. And of course, the best training I've gotten has been through trial and error. I didn't take a business class in college. I've been very fortunate to have a lot of mentoring and support through the years through that organization. So what I've learned though didn't come from a class, so it was from experience.
That's a really cool, exciting story. I think a lot of entrepreneurs can think back and kind of follow that process of, hey, my life needs to change because something's happened. I had a somewhat similar story, but I was wanting to have a third child and realizing it wouldn't work in the parameters of my current career path, right? So went out and started my own company. I think a lot of people have those moments. So when you're thinking back and you're thinking back to those things you wish you knew when you were just starting out, one of the items that you had talked about a little bit before we were getting on this call was embracing technology in your startup. Can you speak to that a little bit?
I definitely can. I was very resilient to technology coming on the scene. When I started this business, we used a payphone, we used a pencil and paper. There were no cell phones, there were no computers. If I needed something, I called, I explained what I wanted. There was not even a catalog. I mean, we really had nothing at the very beginning other than our smile and genuine hearts, honestly, sincere effort to try to make women feel happy and pretty. But as technology entered our world and entered the business climate, I was doing very, very well in my business at that time. And I just was very slow to embrace it. I mean, I didn't want to get a cell phone. I didn't want to get a smartphone. I didn't want to get a computer. I didn't want a website. I mean, I was so slow because I was doing so well the way that I was doing the business. And, the climate of last year has really forced my hand with technology. And I've come so far in the last year in particular, necessity being the mother of invention. But it would have been much easier for me had I started the second I saw that technology was here to stay and it was on the forefront and everyone else was doing it but me. Hello. It would have made my life a lot easier in a lot of respects. So, I mean, I've caught up now, right? And of course, now I haven't had a choice. And so that's been great. And I thank God for that. But when my advice on this point is that when something is, coming into mainstay life and everyone's doing it and you're the only business that that doesn't do X, I mean, or Y, hello. I mean, you need to embrace what's going on because it's not going to go away. So I have noticed through my almost 31 years of business, when something arrives in the business climate and everyone's doing it, technology is just one of these things, but it doesn't leave. It's not going to leave. If everyone else is doing it and having success with it, you need to embrace it. So I wish I would have done that earlier. That's a definite advice I have. When something comes on the scene, go after it, learn everything you can, and figure out how to integrate it into your business.
Well, and I think that's great because kind of your second tip, we asked you for 5 tips when we got started today. And your second one was embracing that change. And so that includes technology, but other stuff. And I think all of us know just from life that change can be painful.
Yes.
Sometimes and uncomfortable, but out of change can come fantastic things.
It's very true. And that's certainly been my experience. And had I realized the freedom that the entrepreneurial journey was going to give me and the changes that running your own business bring to your life, I definitely would have embraced it a lot quicker or sooner, so that I was really shocked at how in the best way, the quality of life that I've been able to have as an entrepreneur. I mean, I knew I was making great money, but that's only one piece of what's so amazing about being an entrepreneur. There's a quality of life that money can't buy that you get when you're running your own show. And I mean, every dream I ever had with this business has come true, but then so many things have happened for me through the quality of life that an entrepreneur has, that stays consistent, that stays steady for so many years. So many things have come true for me in my life that I couldn't have even dreamed, so many magnificent things. So yes, it can be painful, but so much growth and internal satisfaction comes from that, and teaching other people how it rocks to be an entrepreneur and helping them succeed. It's just such an exciting journey for me. I just love it.
Well, I think you're just tying one into the other, these perfect transitions, because your next point for us was freedom, right? And it seems like you're really, you're tying right into that. So talk to us a little bit about what you wish you'd known about freedom when you were getting started.
Well, it's an incredibly powerful thing. And I've over my career had the privilege of teaching, developing many entrepreneurs. I'm very proud of that, all within this direct sales industry and under the umbrella of jewelry. And freedom is a very powerful thing. And I grew up in a Midwestern family where it was a constant message that I heard, don't get cute, and don't, just this could go away tomorrow. And I don't know, my father did an outstanding job keeping me grounded even as my business was just exploding. And so teaching others how to manage the freedom of the entrepreneurial life, I think I should have started doing that earlier. I mean, I do it well now. I do it quite well now, I think. But I didn't work personally with the entrepreneurs that I developed like I should have in the earlier years. I just didn't know that that was a thing. But I realized as my own career evolved, this is a lot more than just selling jewelry. And, for example, teaching women, you're making all this money now. It's important to do something philanthropic. That's just one example. It's not your moment to go buy another car. You got one, you don't even have to pay for it because the company provides it. You don't need another one. How about let's take that money and do something for somebody else, for the greater good. So teaching people how to manage the financial and also the time freedoms and privileges that we have as entrepreneurs, I think that's very important, because I think a lot of people just stumble into entrepreneurship with no plan. Like I said earlier, I mean, it was the last thing I could have ever pictured for my life. I just was fortunate that I had a dad that drilled down on me and thought, oh my gosh, this is my wild child, and now she's making all his money. And and he did such a good job of helping me manage my freedom and teaching me how and setting that example. And so I've been able to share that with other people, but I feel like I started it too late.
I think that's really great, the freedom aspect of it, but I don't want our listeners to be fooled, Catherine, because you have a lot of discipline in terms of executing your position. And so I think that is also an important, something really important that you have the freedom to do. If you are disciplined, it grants you more freedom in your business, and you are a shining example of that. But perhaps this is my second favorite tip you gave, the wolf in sheep's clothing. I loved this when we were talking about it ahead of time, because I think it's something that a lot of entrepreneurs, when they're starting out, don't think about.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay.
I want you to explain it, how you explained it to me, what you mean.
Well, okay. So, I mean, I to this day expect the best of people, and in all situations, and I generally get it. I have found I set the bar high with people. I really do expect people's best, and I find I get it most of the time. This has been a great way for me to live. However, I wish I would have understood better what a wolf in sheep's clothing is and means to the business person. That is something that I have learned the hard way. So I wish that I would have gotten a little bit more, I would have been a little bit more savvy, or if someone would have taught me or pointed out to me some of the warning signs of someone who looks like one thing but really is another, that would have saved me some headache. I've learned some disappointing lessons about people that I highly have regarded in the past, that because I was taking them at face value and not understanding or choosing not to read the red flags that they were exhibiting of who they really were in character and in spirit. And, unfortunately, that's just part of the world, not even just business. That's just life, So sometimes things look great on the surface, but trust your gut, trust your intuition. If you feel weird about something, if something seems off to you, off about someone, anything, I mean, that's your moment to contact a professional like Susan or like Camille. I do not hesitate to get legal opinions on things that are bothering me or that bother me. That's something very important to consider and do when you feel unsure or unsafe. And those wolves are out there. And I wish I would have been a little more savvy to that, a little bit less naive to that earlier on.
I call that the trust your gut.
Yeah. I will
tell you, as I get older, the more I listen to it.
Yes.
And the more I trust it, quite frankly, right away, if something's telling me it's off.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was younger, admittedly, I was just like you. I wanted to overlook it and think that nobody would be dishonest with me or try to take advantage of the situation. And I think that's a lesson a lot of people learn the hard way.
Or even you don't know, you're new and you're thinking, well, it seems off, but maybe I'm missing something here. Let's try it instead of going, no, it seems off. Let's take a step back and think about this, because there's something telling me that this needs to be looked at closer. Yeah. Well, in the last tip that you were talking about in preparation for our podcast was valuing the resources in the business community, which we love. We all know each other through a business community organization. So talk to us a little bit about what you wish you'd known when you started out about that value.
Well, I wish I would have realized how much time hiring a professional could save me. I always wanted to do everything myself. I come by that. Honestly, my grandfather was that way. I shared a story. I come from a farming family. I shared a story with Camille that, Grandpa moved to Chicago and commuted every weekend to manage our family farm. He was an attorney in Chicago, actually, but he grew up on this little farm that stayed in our family. Anyway, it was suggested to him, Chris, which is what people called him as a nickname. Why don't you hire a farm manager? I mean, you got to be able to afford that. You're a successful attorney. And no, Grandpa wanted to keep that 3% in his pocket. He didn't want to pay somebody else that money when he knew he could do it himself. And, fact of the matter is, we may be able to do something for ourselves, but in truth, the time and the aggravation and the headache that we can save ourselves by hiring the expert in that area, whether it's law or it's marketing or it's styling. I mean, Camille and I were talking about her neckline before the podcast started and what necklace would work. Can she go online and try to figure that out and take that time and do it? Of course. But I mean, she doesn't have a lot of time, and it's valuable to her to put that time and just let me do it, and I'll just pick it for her. And because that's what I do. And I'm good at that. And so, time is very valuable, and we shouldn't hesitate to hire professionals in an area that we don't have time to address, or that maybe it's not our thing. And really the payoff of that is much larger down the line, So NAWBO, this organization we're all a part of, is filled, as many business organizations are, with a treasure trove of talented resources and people. Some of these ladies' businesses, I listen even after all these years of being in NAWBO, and I'm still shocked at what they do. They describe their business and I think, wow, I didn't even know that was a business. How smart. Or I mean, it's just amazing the resources that are available, and we should take some of our profits and plug them back into supporting other women. I think that's very important. So it's not just for our benefit. It's also our moment to say, I could probably do it myself, but why don't I don't mind shopping online, but why don't I support Catherine in that way? That's something simple I can do for her. Or it applies to law too. Why do I need to struggle over this contract when I know I can fax it to Susan and she'll have it wrapped up in 15 minutes, what I should do? I mean, the time is so valuable. So not feeling like we have to micromanage and also hold every single dollar to our chest in our prosperity and growth in our businesses, to involve other people who have better, stronger skill sets, expertise, knowledge, education, savvy, whatever the case may be, and make them our business partners. so to speak.
I think that's a really great point. So, Catherine, one last thing before we do our very last and favorite thing to do with a guest, which is our showdown.
How
Tell
fun.
people if they want to get in touch with you, how they can get in touch with you.
Oh, that's so kind. I have a website. It's myparklane.com/Catherine Chrisman. My name is KATHERINECHRISMAN. And they can go on and look at the jewelry, and maybe they might want to book a virtual styling appointment. They don't have to commit to buying anything, but I can meet with them on Zoom and give them some style tips and help as they're trying to evolve their virtual image. Perhaps they're interested in doing something on the side to supplement an income, or they are tired of what they're doing and they'd like to try something different under the umbrella of being an entrepreneur. I have found over the years, once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. Sometimes entrepreneurs think they're done and then they get tired and they want to come back. Whatever the case may be, I'd be happy to be helpful. So I thank you very much for that, Camille. Thank you for letting me share that.
I would just ask people wait until they're done watching this before they do that, because then they'll be like me and they'll get distracted with all the jewelry and start.
To the
Yeah.
side,
So finish
finish
listening to the podcast or watching it first, then go look at the fabulous jewelry. Thanks.
Oh, you girls are so cute. Oh.
So we always, anytime we have a guest, we have a little running bet. And so we always do what we call the 3Bs showdown. And Trisha doesn't get to participate because she's not here and she's winning anyway. So Susan and I need to catch up with points.
Okay, good.
Although I really don't. So Susan, if Susan wins, everybody has to wear a cheese head hat.
Cheese head.
If Trisha wins, it's a cowboy hat.
Oh, cute.
And if I win, people either have to wear, I haven't decided, a taco or an avocado hat.
Wait, a cheese head hat isn't cute, Catherine? I mean, come on.
I've actually seen it.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
personally
teasing.
Voting for the cowboy hat.
We all
So the question today is and so Susan and I have each chosen something ahead of time.
Okay.
What is the first thing that you would do after COVID ends? Go out to a huge dinner with all your friends and have drinks and cocktails and a good meal, or go on vacation?
I would go out to dinner with all. Am I supposed to say it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I would go out to dinner.
Especially because I'm about to win.
Yeah, I mean, I would go out to dinner with 1 million people. I mean, a huge dinner of friends, Camille. You'd probably be on the guest list, likely. Yeah, because I miss seeing people. I love seeing you, but I miss seeing people in person. There's no doubt about it.
Since I said I want to go on vacation, that was my answer. What I'll do is I'll take my vacation in LA and go to the dinner with all of you guys.
Woo! That sounds perfect.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
You can stay with me. No hotel charge.
After COVID.
Always free for my Nabo sisters. I'm only 3 miles from the beach.
That's awesome.
All right. Thank you, Catherine, so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time and for agreeing to be a guest with us. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on this episode of 3Bs on the Law.
I love it.
Thank you for joining us on today's podcast of 3Bs on the Law. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast. We also welcome any comments. If you'd like to get in touch with us or suggest a future topic, you can email us at 3THREEBsonthelaw@gmail.com. And because we're lawyers, we need to remind you that this podcast is not meant to provide you with legal advice and does not create an attorney-client relationship. Thank you again for joining us and have a great day.